How's it going, everybody? I apologize for the long wait. Welcome back to Sports Talk and Sports Time. Of course, again, I'm Echelon. This is 2026. I always take a break for a bit. I always take this year for ironically New Year's and Christmas and all of that kind of fell on a Thursday and a Friday. Boxing Day was on a Friday, and New Year's was on. It was on a Wednesday, and just Thursday, and it just 31st was on a Wednesday, and it just So I do apologize. This is the first edition. Lots to get into. First of all, let's talk a little bit of World Juniors. Czechia beat Canada yet again, so we're going to be seeing a Sweden-Czechia final. Sweden hasn't won since forever, almost 15 years if I'm correct, some 12 to 15, something around that time. Czechia probably could win gold. It's something that it's a resurgence that a lot of people don't really see. Like, a lot of the Czechians from the old days never really got the honors that these kids are this generation of talent. I know that it's just juniors and you it's just kids, but it means a lot when you go later into careers. So I just have to give it to Czechia. They play a really good game. They're playing like Canadians. You play long enough and you find out. Of course, that's juniors. The Olympic rosters are made. They're going to be in Milan next month. I think it's the 5th. That's the last day for NHL. So let's just kind of get into that. Let's just get into some, and not just NHL, but PWHL, NCAA. We got there's a lot we're gonna get into today. So I really appreciate that you guys are here, and let's just talk about the college football. Alabama got beat by Indiana real bad, but they were inconsistent most of the year. A lot of big bowls happened. Music City Bowl, Illinois beat Tennessee in a close one. Alamo Bowl, Texas Christian beat Southern University of Southern California there in OT. Sun Bowl, Duke beat Arizona State. Citrus Bowl, Texas beat Michigan. In the Las Vegas Bowl, Utah beat Nebraska. Holiday Bowl, SMU beat Arizona, and then of course we got the playoffs. Throughout the playoffs, we've seen Oklahoma go down to Alabama, seen Texas A&M go down to Miami, Ole Miss dominate Tulane, and of course Oregon just had their way with James Madison, even though they just didn't bother in the end. They allowed a few points there. Miami beat the undefeated Ohio State, or I think they were on. No, they weren't undefeated. Sorry about that. But they beat the defending champions, and then you got Oregon, who shut out Texas Tech. As I said, Alabama just got dominated by Indiana. They're undefeated. Sorry, they're undefeated. That's who I was thinking of. And Georgia lost in a thriller to Ole Miss, the Rebel. So we're going to see a new college playoff champion. We got and of course, so the Sugar Bowl was won by Ole Miss. Indiana won the Rose Bowl. Oregon won the Orange Bowl. And Miami won the Cotton Bowl. And now it's the Fiesta Bowl. Now those were the quarterfinals, and now it's the semifinals. It is the Peach Bowl and Fiesta Bowl. Ironically, I like the Peach Bowl. I think that one. That's featuring both the Orange Bowl and the Rose Bowl champions. It's happening in Atlanta. It's going to be fun. And the Fiesta Bowl, just to make sure I get it right, because I did get it wrong last year. It is at State Farm and is in Arizona, Glendale. It's gonna be fun. So we're gonna see where that, and then of course the let me see where the championship will be taking place in Miami this year. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun college playoff. Indiana's a very good team. That could be lopsided. People say, "Oh, Oregon's in a smaller conference." I don't know. I think Oregon, if it turns into a shootout, Oregon could win. If it turns into a defensive match, I think Indiana will win. But I think it's two good teams, and of course, the Miami and Ole Miss game. Hurricanes have a chance to be a defensive team that wins, and they're doing it dominantly defensively. And the Ole Miss is just a surprisingly gets plays off down to the wire type team, and I'm happy. I'm happy for it. So let's see some more. Last week of NFL, we'll just scan through the games that matter, and the games that don't matter, I'm not gonna. Yeah. So on Saturday, two games that did matter. Seahawks, in a dominant fashion, lock up the number one seed for the NFC. So they get the first round bye. Buccaneers win against the Panthers in a late, close one, 14-16 match. Unfortunately, the Falcons win on Sunday, which means the Carolina Panthers, even though they lost to the Bucs, they get in. I'm not going to explain how that works. I just advise, if you want to, look it up. They all have an 8-9 record. I just need to point that out. Vikings beat the Packers. Packers look sluggish going into the playoffs. They take the 7th seed. Jaguars beat the Titans, and unfortunate that Cam Ward goes down in the final game, I think, of the year, which they should have rested him because it's the final game, but it is what it is. He's a rookie. You need the gameplay. But they lose, and of course, it's just a sheer blowout. Cowboys and Giants. Giants win in it looks in a doubled up the Cowboys 34-17. Rams come back, but defeat the Cardinals. They were down, but they came back in a 37-20 game. Raiders in a last-minute field goal beat the Chiefs. Commanders beat the Eagles, which means the Eagles get still a third spot. Lions beat the Bears, which the Bears get the 2nd seed. And yeah, the Patriots dominate the Dolphins, so they get the 2nd seed. Bills dominate the Jets in their final game at Highmark. My Broncos in a defensive showdown beat the Chargers, so we get the number 1 seed. And so the Patriots are the 2nd seed. And of course, the winner of the Ravens-Steelers game determined the winner of that division. And the Ravens whiffed on a last-minute field goal, which would have sealed it. And the Steelers are now the division champions. So now wildcard weekend is upon us. Just before I get to wildcard weekend, Myles Garrett, in a win over the Bengals, got the sack record for 23 sacks. He said he wanted 25. We'll see that next year. I'll hold him to that because that would be awesome. Texans defeat the Colts in a very good game, so locking up them as the 5th seed. So I had to also point that out. Wildcard weekend, the end on Saturday through to Monday. Saturday games, we got Rams at Panthers, Packers at Bears, and then on Sunday we have Bills at Jaguars, 49ers at Eagles. Oh, sorry, they locked up as the 5th seed because the Bills are the 6th seed, and 49ers at the Eagles, which is the last game, and of course, the second last game. And then the Chargers and Patriots are the last game. And of course, the Texans at Steelers, because the Steelers played the late night game. They get the extra day. So that's kind of cool. I like the way that works. So we'll go through that game again. Rams at Panthers, and so Los Angeles Rams going to Carolina. So Panther going to Bank of America Stadium, I think it is. Packers going to Soldier Field in Chicago. So Green Bay at Chicago, Buffalo at Jacksonville, San Francisco at Philadelphia, Los Angeles Chargers at New England, and then Houston at Pittsburgh. Whew, I think that's actually deserving of Super Wildcard Weekend. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. We'll see what's happened. Broncos Seahawks get the bye, 14-3 record. Let's just talk a little NHL first before we talk PWHL. Tampa looks like leaders of the Atlantic, Tampa, Montreal, and Detroit, with, of course, the Florida Panthers lurking in the fourth spot. Sabres, Bruins, Senators, Leafs. In the Metro, Hurricanes, Islanders, Flyers, Penguins, with the Capitals lurking in the fifth spot, Devils, Rangers, Blue Jackets. And then in the West, in the Pacific, we got the Golden Knights, Oilers, Ducks, with the Kraken just above the Kings. If I'm correct, though, points-wise, yeah. So points-wise, Kings would still be in it. And yeah, Avalanche, Stars, Wild, with the Predators as the four. Predators and the Blues as the fourth, but they're 42 points. So that means they would still not make it in. So it would be Golden Knights, Oilers, Ducks, Kraken, and Kings. So 5 out of the Pacific would make it in. But we're only halfway through the season. This is why I'm talking hockey. Usually I don't talk too much hockey through the start. From September to about December, I don't really talk hockey. In fact, I don't like to really talk hockey because it kind of messes up the mojo of the season. I like to talk about it later on. Let's see here. Yeah, and it would be the same with the Metropolitans. So the Capitals are at 48 points, while Sabres at 46 points. So it would just be the Panthers. Well, sorry, the Panthers wouldn't even make it in. It'd just be the Lightning, Canadiens, and Red Wings. That's if the season started halfway through. That has had happened, technically, 60 or 70 games because of the lockout. But I digress. This is just halfway through the season. I like the way my Penguins are playing. We're getting some wins down. We're on a bad losing streak. Hurricanes always playing outstanding throughout the season. Not really surprised. The Flyers, they always seem to mix match. They look, under Rick Tocchet, they look fine. Islanders, they've been feisty. That's the one thing I would say as the Islanders, is they're very feisty. I can't really say too much about the other teams. I don't like to talk bad about teams. I'm not paid to do this, so I'm not going to talk bad. However, Bruins were bound to be in this position. The fact that they're actually gradually getting there, they were doing good, but it's just like at one point I don't know how much personnel. Technically, people thought we would be in the bottom where the Blue Jackets were, and technically we were. It's just our division, the top, the points where the top is right now. There isn't really no runaway. Like, this isn't at that time of the season where people are runaways. And our division the Metro always goes. Like, the Devils were doing good. And at any point, the Rangers, because everybody had technical personnel, the Columbus Blue Jackets just played us hard. So don't ever take any team. This isn't the early 2000s where a team's so bad that they're going to just drop every game. I don't think that's the case. Now, people would say, that's the Maple Leafs. Look, Maple Leafs have had some bad things happen. But it just looks like they're not listening to their coach. Now, the coach is an award-winning coach. Stanley Cup winning coach. If they started to listen, maybe Senators are always ironically in this position. They always have good players. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't speak on the Senators. Same with the Sabres. They just fired and now they're starting to get some. They got a 10-game win streak going or something like that, like something crazy. Avalanche is the team to look out for. That's what everyone's saying. Stars is another team to look out for. They have a great goaltender. That's where I look at. Avalanche just have an overall good team, and they have a great. And it's this. And to me, that's also the Stars and the Golden Knights are the same. Oilers are starting to pick up because they have a great personnel. Canucks, Flames, Sharks are the bottom three. Jets, Blackhawks, and Mammoth are the bottom three there. Blackhawks are going to be in this position probably for. I'm going to give it another year, but maybe even next year that they start to do something. Because we're 40. They're 42 games in. But we'll see where everybody does really end in the end, like at the end of the season. But like, I don't know. I see glimpses of like really good stuff. Like there's a lot going good in Chicago. There's a lot going good in Utah with the Mammoth. But it's just you have maybe it's just not the right voices. I don't know. Maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just the slumps. Maybe everyone's worried about the Olympics. Ducks are good. Are fine. Like it's everything's starting to pan out with them. The draft picks, the young talent, they're maturing, and yeah. So we'll see where that goes in the end. Let's talk a little NBA. Let's who won the cup? I think it was the Knicks. Was it? Yeah, the Knicks won the NBA Cup. They only put up a plaque or whatever, or something like that. They didn't put up a banner. I think there's something to do with the tradition. They don't believe in that. Something maybe has to do with the championship. Some people are saying that. I don't believe it's that. I believe it's just that. Yeah. Thunder are the leading team in the NBA. Looks like right now, with 30 wins and 6 losses. Spurs, Lakers, Nuggets, Rockets, Timberwolves, Suns, Warriors, and Trailblazers right behind them. Let's go to the East, where the Pistons are the lead with 26 and 9 losses. 26 wins and 9 losses. With the Knicks, Celtics, my Toronto Raptors, go Toronto, 46 or 76ers, Philadelphia, or the Magic, the Heat, the Cavaliers in the 8th spot with the Chicago Bulls in the 9th. I think Chicago I thought they had some. A lot of those teams, yeah, a lot of teams. We're only 20 games in. 20-some games in, 30 games in. I don't, a lot of the back-to-backs I don't think actually happened. Some teams have had couple of back-to-backs. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Some teams have, done 30. Some teams, or 35 games. 40 games. We're only 40 games in. Barely, some teams are barely at the 35 mark. So, let's not worry about that when it comes to the NBA. They're, in the 30 to 35 mark. Champions League, that's going to be happening in a couple weeks. Looks like women's soccer as well. Looks like their round of 16 is happening in February, so I'm going to get on that later on. But when it comes to the men's UCLA, that's happening the 20th. Excuse me. That's happening the 20th, so let's we could the 7th match is happening, so I'm going to get more on that. I'm just going to talk about the standings. Right now, it looks like Arsenal undefeated, Bayern Munich Then my Paris Saint-Germain, Man City, the Goddesses of Atalanta, the Italians. Right behind them, Inter Milan, the other Italians, with Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid holding off the 8th. And of course, from the 9th to the 24th seeds, those are the play-ins. And the ones, and then I'm not going to mention the ones that are in the play-ins right now, the ones that are looking out. Right now, it looks like Karat, the Kazakhstani team, Villarreal, Ajax, Slava Prague, Bodo Glimt, the Norwegians, Club Brugge, in Frankfurt, Olympiacos, Atletico Bilbao, Royal Union St. Gillois, Paphos, the Cypriot, and Benfica are all looking out right now. Now that could change in the next 2 games, but right now, Barcelona looking good, Chelsea looking good, Napoli still in it, Korbeg, the Azerbaijani team still in it. That's kind of cool. So some teams are kind of still in it. We'll get more on that next week. Okay, I'm going to do this weekly. So, right now, for Europa, Lyon leading with Midland, the Danish team in second, Aston Villa, Real Betis, Freiburg, the German team, Ferencváros, TC, the Hungarian, Braga, Porto, with the people that are looking out, looks like the Croatians, Zagreb, Dynamo Zagreb, Basel, the Romanians, FCSB, Go Ahead Eagles, Sturm Graz, Feyenoord, Salzburg, Utrecht, Rangers, Malmo, Maccabi Tel Aviv, the Israeli, and of course the one team that is winless, and that is Nice, the French. So that's everybody right now that's in Europa, and the Conference League that just finished up during the time period. So the teams that get to bye, I'm just going to mention the bye, and like I said, the teams that we're going to talk more. Give me 1 sec. I'll let you know when we're going to talk more about. Oh, they haven't even made the matchups yet. So we're going to talk more when they actually make the matchups. So the teams that get the bye is Strasbourg, the French, Rakow Częstochowa, the Polish, Athens, aka Athens, the Greek, Sparta Prague, Rayo Vallecano, Shakhtar Donetsk, Mainz, and AK Lunarka, the Cypriot. And the teams that are not going to make it, Rapid Vienna, Aberdeen, Shelbourne, Hamrun Spartan, BK Häcken, Shamrock Rovers, Breidablik, the Icelandic, Slovan Bratislava, Lega Warsaw, Dynamo Zagreb, Lincoln Red Imps, and Craiova. I think that is Czech? Romanian. Yeah, the last one is a Romanian team. So, we'll get on more on that. NCAA basketball. Everyone looks like there's a lot of good competition. Some teams are 14-1, 13-1, 14. It looks like Big 12 conference. A couple of undefeated teams. Connecticut looking good. Villarreal looking good. Big 10 has a couple undefeated. Michigan's undefeated. Big West looking good. My Tar Heels, they're 13-2. But in the conference, they're 1-1. So if you were to look them up on the rankings or standings, it looked bad. It's like, oh, that's pretty down. No, they have 2 losses, but it's still early in the season. That's the men, the women. Lot of the same. Couple of Texas Tech is undefeated for the women. Louisville has 3 losses, but they lead their division. My Tar Heel girls are 22, but they're 13-4. 2-2 in the conference, so 2 of those losses came within the conference. That's why you'll see them again down under Georgia Tech. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Can't. It's too early. Nothing fancy. But let's take a look at the PWHL standings. My Ottawa not in a playoff spot, but it looks like the last 3 teams all have last 4 teams all have similar records. Montreal, Seattle, Vancouver, and Ottawa all have similar points. Boston lead, Minnesota behind, New York and Toronto with 15. I hope my Ottawa girls do good, man. I'm really pulling for them. I was hoping they'd get back to the finals. They were looking good, but I digress. There's only so many games played, lots of games to go. Not too sure. Next week I'll get up on the Royal Rumble. I'll talk a little bit more, but until then, everything I just covered everything. So I was just looking at that. I thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. Say something nice. That'll change somebody's life forever. You guys are the greatest. I appreciate the time that you guys took to. This is Sports Time, Sports Talk. Yeah, comments, anything. If you have something you want to say, we'll get on more. We'll see what these matchups. I think it's going to be a good Super Wild. I think for the NFL, this is a deserving of Super Wild Card weekend. But that's totally up to you guys. Love you guys. Stay safe. Stay warm. Enjoy the rest of the week.